All right, just another edition. We are here again. Erin Ruggieri, Dr. Dustin Boston. This is the Vital Wire. All right. So, as we've gone on the past 3 months, we're going to talk a little bit more about what we're seeing as far as student athletes. At this point, we've had a lot of feedback, a lot of people learning a lot of things that they wish they would have known earlier.
Yep.
So with that, we've got some exciting things that we're beginning to explore and provide. But really, and this continues to be the typical theme right now.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot, but as we're starting to bring more people into our circle as well, from golf coaches and pitching performance coaches and performance trainers, and really starting to align the circle. Here's one thing I want to get out first is a lot of that clientele, the student athlete clientele that we're seeing, those parents are of a similar lifestyle and history.
Yes.
So while we might be, it's like, oh, well, they just take care of student athletes. It's well, not only, we do see the parents that are trying to keep up. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, as you're listening to this, chances are this is going to apply. And if it doesn't quite apply to you, the information as a person is still the same. The most common injuries that we might talk about today in athletics are going to be the same that general public experience, right? So we're going to discuss some of those things and what we're seeing more of, and a little bit of the information that people are saying they wish they'd know more of. So what... on Erin's side of things, as she is more now of our case manager, moving into clinical director, you're really taking over the sights and scenes and more of us collaborating. You're really almost the, dare I say, portal of entry, because we are a portal of entry office. I don't think a lot of people know that either. And I'm going to kind of jump. I wasn't going to go here yet, but I'm going to allude, or I'm going to preface on that right now, because what we're going to talk about here in a minute is going to matter. But we are a portal of entry office. We are a primary care office, because as a chiropractic physician in the state of Missouri, we can provide the primary care and portal of entry into the system. And with what we see, the referral, if we need MRIs, if something major has happened and we have to refer, we can still be the portal of entry for that. But in our office, we're both very privy to what's coming in. Who is this person? Where were they referred from? What do they do? But what's been a lot of fun and very, very helpful for me and how our office functions is you beginning on the clinical side of that. So you being able to start that conversation has been huge.
Right.
So now that you've been here 4, 5, 6 months, it seems like forever.
I know.
Seems like forever, and man, it's only been at the same time.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're starting to get feedback on? Common questions. What are we seeing the most of? What's that conversation that look like right now?
Yeah, I think the people who come in after the fact are like, wait, I could have come here first. It's the biggest thing that we're seeing right now is people are like, I went to the orthopede, I went to a different urgent care, and then they come here and they're like, I wish I wouldn't have gone there.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I've done all of these things that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because they just put me in a boot, or they charged me $1,000 to put me in a boot and just send me home and tell me to go to an orthopedic specialist anyway. Kind of wasted your time in that matter of fact. And then they come here and they're like, okay, well, that was all a waste of my one time, my money, and my athlete's time as an athlete too.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing I think right now.
Yeah. And so a lot of that too is, there's a lot of great doctors everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are getting frustrated with the run of the mill, the A plus B equals C, and being a number, not a name. And really it's like, oh, well, if it sounds and looks like this, then it has to be this.
Yeah.
This is the protocol. You're out 6 weeks. And it's like, takes 30 minutes to spend $1,000 and really not get any answers. Or what do we do to what are or options. Like if you have a broken leg, compound fracture, like there is no other option.
Correct.
But that's also something you can see, and you're smart enough, we're all smart enough, and it's like we know what it's going to take to fix that. We're talking about ankle sprain. Well, there's 4 different grades of that. Everybody's a little different. What do they play? Size, weight, sex. What all ligaments are actually involved, because not all ankle sprains look the same. Same with the knee. Oh, it could be meniscus. It could be PCL. It could be ACL. It could be LCL. Like, there's so much involved that just because it's swollen doesn't guarantee it's like, yep, medial meniscus. You're out 6 weeks. It's like, based on what? Like, just because it looks the part, just because you have the symptom doesn't mean you have the disease. I've said that for years now. It's like, yeah, it might look like it, but does it actually smell, feel, and taste like it? It's like, let's find out all the information.
And like, if the person that you're going to can't really like signify what you're there for and can't really pinpoint, like, you got to give some kind of answer. Like, if they can't do that, then like you want to question them. That's what I do. I'm like, what do you mean? Why?
And here's the thing. Well, I think at this point, it's like a lot of people who, I'm going to be bold for a second. All right.
We're always bold. What are you talking about?
A lot of people who are watching this are going to be the ones that want to question. What do I need to know more? What are better questions I can ask? Because here's what I don't want to do. Here's who I don't want to be. Here's how I don't want to be treated unless it's absolutely necessary. The people who are in full trust of Western medicine, white coat doctors, their orthopedist, is for this professional team, and I trust them with my life. Okay, cool. Then this is not for you. I think a majority of the people are like, do they need to be in a boot? Like, why am I going to pay for this? My insurance is terrible anyway. I know they're not going to cover it, which is why we don't take it either. And we make it more affordable because of that. Like, people who are open and knowing, wait, you don't take insurance and you're more affordable. Wait, there is another option other than going into this boot. Wait, we might not have to do X, Y, or Z. Tell me more. Like, you that are listening to this are those people. And we are becoming more and more to the forefront because of the experiences we've had in the past 3 months, and giving this information of like, yes, ankle sprain, come here. If you have our numbers and you unfortunately have a student athlete or yourself roll an ankle at a football game or playing pickleball or something happens in golf, and it's like, I know they're just going to want to put me in a boot and take an x-ray, and I already know how this song and dance goes, and I've done this before and it didn't work, and it's like, what can I do different? Call us. Day,
night, doesn't matter.
Because there is a lot of that in the research that we're seeing in the clinical studies we're doing here, and outcomes of time and place for those things. Is it actually necessary? We can evaluate that. We can take the films. We can do the physical evaluation. We can do the orthopedic tests and really figure out and get to the root cause of, yes, here's the thing. Here's what we're seeing. You need to go here. Yes, here it is. This is what we're seeing. This is what we're going to do. Here, we've got you. Because what I don't want people to think either is like, oh yeah, you're anti-Western medicine, and of course you would say, no, that's not what I'm saying. Because we've just sent 3 people for MRIs in the past 3 months. And one of them had a pretty big hip issue, which I'm glad we caught, which could have spread into the hip more. So guess what? Referred, fix it, ideal? No, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Another shoulder injury. We've had ankle and hand injury. Like, so we do play nice with people who want to play nice. So we have the referrals for y'all to go to, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my mom's literally a NICU nurse. Of course I play nice.
You get a spanking. So, but in some of the Ultimate Athlete evaluations, and we will say that. So a lot of people have seen the Ultimate Sports Physical. We're renaming that because a lot of you guys like to say, "Oh, well, they've already got their physical." It's like, damn, we missed the boat there. Like, I see why you would say that, but it's like, no, the Ultimate Sports Physical, and it's like, okay, so we're going to rename it to the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation. Because we're evaluating the athlete, and we talked about this on our last podcast, and it's been the theme for the past few months, is you are a person. So I don't care about the Ultimate Sports Physical. It's like we're talking about the sport and evaluating the function and performance of the sport. So it kind of matches up. This is off the top right now. I'm like, so why didn't we name it this the first time? So we're dealing with a person, and now it's the Ultimate athlete evaluation, so we can evaluate the entire athlete for what it is they do, where they want to go, their goals, their biomechanics.
Yeah.
So we're renaming the Ultimate Sports Physical to the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation. So back to regularly scheduled programming. The reason I say that is because a lot of these conversations are coming up as we're doing the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation.
Right.
I mean, a lot of parents are telling you what at the end of this, and you've kind of already said it, but I want to jump back on it.
Yeah, like, why didn't I know about this sooner, basically?
Right. And it's like where was this his freshman year?
Where have you been? Yeah.
It's like, I wish we could have done this his freshman year, and then we had another one stop and say, well, I wish we could have done this sooner than that.
Yeah.
And that's, that's definitely the purpose of that. It gives us a well-rounded look into what can happen. What it also does, and I'll be very honest, which is kind of cool, is it creates a lot of rapport for us. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been very surprised, and this isn't to toot our own horn, but I think we should do more of that because we've gained a lot of trust very, very quickly with parents who have done the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation over the past 3 months.
Right. Yeah, and it's like getting that trust not only of the parent, but then the athlete. Because at their school, they might be one of 100 kids who walk in that like AT room every single day.
Right.
But here they walk in like they are that person until they walk out the door, until they walk in the next time. Mm-hmm. Whereas in an AT room, you're shuffled in and out, and you have no idea. You might walk in and get your ankle taped and not even be asked a question.
Right.
Just how the game goes.
Yep. And that's something we're trying to solve for as well, is being able to serve the ATs better. So if you have an AT in your family, in your circle, or maybe you're an AT watching this, like, we play nice.
Yeah. Clearly.
Because here's the thing too, is it's like we're able to solve and help a lot.
Yeah.
We're not here to tell you what to do, but we're able to solve and help a lot. And the reason I bring that up is because we've already heard about an AT for a team who we have an athlete of that has said, oh, why'd you go there? And it's like, no. Cut that bullshit out right now.
Yeah.
Because we've also seen athletes that we have found things, and it's not the AT's job to find what we found.
Right.
When you find an 18-degree curve in somebody's spine at 14 years old, and you're able to find it and give next steps and what we're going to do about it, that's a big deal. Creates a lot of trust very quickly.
Yeah.
And now the AT can now know and have that information, like, okay, if they're going through this, or this, I have to consider this. Mm-hmm. We're here to help and make ATs shine as well. But like you were saying, just being shuffled through, at the end of the day, they are very, very much set up for failure. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we've got football, we've got softball, we've got soccer. And with that, there's almost 300 athletes.
Yeah.
And you, Mr. or Mrs. 1AT, have to see them all.
Yep. And you're responsible for every single one of them, getting them ready for practice, some people getting them water for practice. And you have to be at every practice too. So make that happen.
Yeah. And this is why Erin, sitting next to me, was on her hands and knees saying, please, 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 can I work here? Just kidding. Just kidding. But seriously, and that's why the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation is so important, because it gains a lot of trust, gains a lot of rapport. We can give next steps, and we can also collaborate and cross the information across the line. So when they're not sitting in front of us, the people that they are sitting in front of most, whether it's the parents or the team, it's really the three places they are the most is the team, the parents, and bed.
Yep.
So when they're not in front of us, they're, people around them are able to have that information.
Yeah, the ability to be one-on-one with an athlete is literally negative.
Right.
Like, I can't think of many times that I've ever been one-on-one with a coach that I've had, other than maybe like on accident when someone didn't show up.
Yeah.
Like, the ability for us to be one-on-one with an athlete for, say, 45 minutes to an hour doing the Ultimate Athlete Evaluation, like, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's not a capacity that's given to anyone who works in a school.
Right.
It's not given to an AT. It's not given to really a PT anymore, the way that that's done now.
Yeah.
So that's that's what you're getting, is you're getting the one-on-one time with us to do the entire evaluation over their mental health, their metabolic health, their physical health, everything.
Yeah. And now, really, even the urgent care side of things.
Yeah.
We've had some texts and some messages about, hey, can I bring him in here for this? Hey, she's having this. Should I bring her to you?
Yeah.
And we're starting to step into that space more.
Right.
So now it's like our whole picture and vision is coming literally full circle very quickly, because we've started on the evaluation.
Yeah.
Like, and we've always been big on that. We have to know the starting point. And while this might not be the starting point, when you walk in through our doors is the starting point.
Yeah.
And there's been such a history before that. We need to figure out, okay, where have you been, but you're here now, and get a baseline.
Yeah.
And then what are next steps? We've solved for that. And now all of a sudden the full circle part is, and we're being pushed into it faster than we thought we were going to, is now it's just like, okay, well, what happens if they go down on the field? And it's like, okay, so we're on this side of the circle. Now we're over here.
Right.
It's like, holy cow, which is great. And now we just solve for it faster. And we've made ourselves more available as much as possible to be like, I've gone to this and I've gone over to the place and did the thing and they referred us out. We can't get an orthopedist for 8 days and whatever. We can solve for some of that and see if it's and really truly diagnose if there is an issue. I hate the word diagnose, but in sports injuries, that's probably the best place to use a diagnosis is it grade 1, 2, or 3? Is it actually broken? Is it simple fractures? Is it displaced? Is it, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, what do you do whenever, like, ordinary society standard, like, what do you do when you're sick? You call your doctor. So what should you do if you're at a late night soccer game and you roll your ankle? You should call your doctor who deals with your sports injuries. Yeah. And that's what we are.
Yes. 100%.
Just makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think you could have said it any better. And we're going to unapologetically start to position ourselves in that way. Because I'll tell you what, we enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it.
Like I've always said, I'm not the injury chiropractor. And I'm still not. Like, I'm not going to market pain. I'm not going to, like, if you fix the problem, the pain and stuff goes away. It's all about performance and function, structure, function, and performance. But if you're performing, you go down, it's like, okay, how do we get you back into performance? I'm like, the injury is the easy part. Yeah. But it's like, let's find the answer faster because we deal with that all the time. And watching that story develop when we've had people that, it's your senior year, you're out to 8 weeks, and you're well into the end of the season by the time you can come back. Right. And to bring them back sooner, if at all possible, we want to make sure that those scenarios, you are back sooner. Yeah. Like, if the data shows, which we've got the baseline, if the data shows that we are safely bringing you back in half of the amount of time, you can't argue with that. Like, there are very few teams, but there are teams at this point that are using the same technology we have to not only heal, that's one set of technology, but help the body heal and cut down that time, but also the data that we're using here to properly, literally justify, man, we said 6 to 8, but we're 2 weeks in and I think he can come back next week. And it's data driven, not emotionally like, man, I really want to get him back sooner. Right. We can do that. Yeah. And it goes along with like concussion, same thing. If you're getting a baseline of that and then say there's a concussion, you don't have to fall. I mean, clearly, there is a very strict protocol with concussions, but same thing. Say they are coming back and you have that data to back it up with the AMI. Okay, then let's go. Yeah. And we can do the SCAT baselines. We can do the entire concussion evaluations and protocols. And here's what I'm going to say on that, being a little on the bold throttle here again, is I hear a lot of people say, don't ever let a chiropractor touch you after concussion. Well, cut that bullshit out too. Yeah. And anytime somebody says that, you should probably lift an eyebrow and either say why or be like, you know what? Just for fun, I'm going to see what they will do and find somebody who specializes in it. We do. We have other colleagues around us that are a little farther out and in other states that do. Yeah. It's like, and when people say, oh, you definitely shouldn't, that's pretty dogmatic. Pretty stereotypical, and you should raise your eyebrow as to why. Oh, there's nothing they can do for that. Well, you should probably lean into that and figure out if that's true or not. Right. Was it a bad experience, or is it just a bias that it's like, and that's one thing I want to squash. A lot of people ask, why do you do what you do? Why have you moved into this realm? Because I want to change the stereotype of that. I want to change the stereotype of how these kids are grown and built growing up as athletes. I want to change the stereotype of what my profession is known for and what we actually do and how we can actually help and how we can actually collaborate with people like ATs and PTs. It's like, I want to change the stereotype. So I say that because that stuff's got to end. Right. Because you're talking about a person, and when we have everything we have, I just want to build value for all of you out there, that between data points, technology, evaluation, education, primary care, rights, we have that answer. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why people, like teams, have their team doc, their team AT, and then their school's hiring in a chiropractor, but then they don't want to play nice. There's a reason why they're still hiring them. Yeah.
So if you have them together, what's the problem?
Right.
That's what I've never understood.
Right. It's crazy. And you have good and bad in every profession, and maybe one of them in the triage, or maybe all of them aren't great, and they're just there to collect a paycheck, and that's unfortunate, but it's easy, and they're around the environment. There's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're solving for that, and especially on the urgent care side of things. So hear this now. If you're not in this state and you have a chiropractor that is very good with student athletes, or you need one, great. If you need one, give us a call. We'll find you one. But consider this: the next time there's a rolled ankle, the next time there's a sprained shoulder, an AC joint issue, a sprained knee, or whatever it is, plantar fasciitis, consider having that discussion with a chiropractic office first, or more, I don't even want to call it alternative. It's not alternative. That style of healthcare first, because I think it'll be very worth your while. If I could have 4 million offices all over the place and really create the standard for that, I would. Hell, maybe I will. But I think that's exactly what a lot of people are looking for, but I get the hesitancy of like, man, I just don't know. Right. I don't know who to trust. We say this all the time too. Yeah. It's just, I don't know who to trust. Well, lean into it and figure it out. And if you need help figuring it out, we'd love to help if we have people and contacts in those areas.
Yeah.
But the student athlete side of things and their parents that are trying to keep up, again, a lot of the injuries we've just touched on, we've mentioned, like adults have those, like adults that aren't athletes necessarily or anymore have the same injuries. So again, consider, my wife tripped up going up the stairs and, smashed her knee up on it and twisted a little bit. And, they said it's swollen, couldn't find anything. We got the MRI. They said it's all good. But there's still a problem there, clearly. So they did all they were supposed to do by the book, and now it's watch and wait. Well, I don't like the watch and wait.
Yeah.
I don't. Not with the lack of information.
Your body's not the weather. You don't watch and wait.
Yeah. And in Missouri, that can go one of two ways.
Exactly.
It can get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, and a lot of the feedback we have gotten, like you had said, is like, where has this been?
Right.
And what else can we be doing? And it's so funny that once we do this, it's like, well, what can you do now?
Right.
And then 2 visits later, it's like, well, what can you do now?
Yeah.
It's like, what's next? It's like, whoa, hang on. If you wanted to know what was 3 steps down the road, you should have started 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see how excited they get because they can see the checkpoints and the progress of what we're going to do.
Yeah. Momentary break. Sponsored by Yeti.
What has been, yes, yeah. They came out with the purple. So a lot of you are like, yeah, I've got a purple. No, you don't. You don't have this purple. You don't. This is Doc Throttle's custom. No, I'm just kidding. I wish it was. But Yeti, so Gordy Gundaker is sponsored by Yeti.
Yes.
And I will tell Yeti, like, maybe we should both be under endorsements of Yeti. I would love that. And because you literally nailed the purple on the head for the race car that I drive. So we'll have to discuss. So I'm going to get some contacts. Speaking of asking for contacts, I'm going to get Yeti.
At Yeti, if you're listening.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too. I think there's a lot of our student athletes and parents of student athletes. I think they're probably big Yeti fans too.
Yeah.
After they've done that evaluation, I don't know why. I have a feeling they're probably pretty big
fairy.
Big Yeti fans. A little surprise action.
Yeti fairy.
But we are super excited about what is coming and coming very quickly. We're often in our office scrambling, like, where do we go? What do we do? Like, what do we do next? How do we do this faster? We're trying to figure out as fast as possible. One thing that would help us is to comment on here, find our email, communicate with us. Like, what do you need? Because we've got a list.
Yeah.
We've got a board of stuff and ideas, and we're trying to put it out as fast as possible. So why that would help us, the more contact and engagement we get from y'all, is because then we can prioritize.
Yep.
So not always are we going to give you what you want, but in this, it would help us a lot. Be like, okay, what is it? If you could choose, what do you want to have first? When it comes to student athletes and the care and the resources they could have, if you could pick the top 3 things, prioritize them 1, 2, and 3, what would they be?
Right.
That would help us out a ton.
Yeah.
Because then we can just narrow it in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. But I am really, really geeking out over everything we do. But I think the urgent care side of things is very, very cool from the trust standpoint, but also the impact and informational and proper progress and notes and diagnosis of what is actually going on and what to expect.
Right.
So, anything else on that?
No, athlete dinner tonight.
Ooh, yeah. By the time you all are seeing this, we will have had our second Pure Athlete huddle. So stay tuned for more of the Pure Athlete stuff.
Yeah.
We've got sweatshirts and T-shirts and hats that are starting to circulate in the community. Yep, I'm wearing one now. Imagine that. And a shirt. I'm like a walking billboard myself. So we've got merch coming out, but we are also doing our second Pure Athlete huddle.
Yeah.
So, which
Stay
is
tuned
tonight.
for the one in October.
Yeah, and we've decided this was not intended to be necessarily a monthly thing, but with some of the feedback and content that people are wanting, we're just going to do it. I wouldn't say we're going to do it every month, but we've already committed to doing another one in October. And so we're going to do that on a little different day. That one will be on a Wednesday, and we're still trying to find the best day. Like, honestly, like I would like to find an awesome day. Maybe we just need to send it and figure out like, we're going to rent this whole auditorium out.
Yeah.
Or we're going to get one of the Howell schools or one of the Zoom schools to let us use their gym.
Yeah.
And we're going to put on an awesome experience while giving information on student athletes through the Pure Athlete and how to serve them better. So as the Pure Athlete stuff comes out, like it, follow it, share it out. And we're excited to get that rolling and on the move too.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your week. See ya.